and welcome to podcast number 3 of our ACEDS mental health series. Today we're going to be speaking to Mark about mental health first aiders. My name is Nikki Woodfall and I'm the Secretary for the ACEDS UK Chapter Board, and I'm also the Senior e-Disclosure e-Data Manager at Travis Smith. Mark, over to you.
So I'm Mark Lake. I'm the Enterprise and Data Systems Manager at Travis Smith. So I work in the technology team, and I've been a mental health first aider for about 7 months now.
Marvellous, thank you. So we're going to do a little bit of a discussion today about mental health first aiders, and I think number one, and most importantly, what is a mental health first aider?
I think a mental health first aider is really just a point of contact. It's somebody who anyone who is suffering from any kind of mental health issue can reach out to, or any kind of emotional issue can reach out to, and then that mental health first aider can then direct them into the right place, or just at least at first give them an ear to listen to. One of the biggest obstacles when dealing with mental health issues is that first conversation, and the mental health first aider is just there to listen and then offer different routes to potential assistance and solutions.
And what was it that made you decide to become a mental health first aider, and what is it that you actually had to do to become one?
So I myself have had some mental health issues in the past, and I was able to go directly to source to sort a lot of these out. And other times I've been able to go directly to support at firms because I knew a few people, but I didn't have any kind of mental health first aiders who I could reach out to at that time. So for me, it was a lot of kind of payback, so paying back what had happened to me, but being there for people who might be like me, or even people who are not like me, but people who are just having a bad week and don't know what to do. So that was really what it was. It was to really support that. Also, I wanted to become a mental health first aider because I was very skeptical about the process. I was worried that it was a badge wearing system where people would walk around going, I don't know if you've noticed something, but I'm a mental health first aider. And so that kind of worry was that, well, how do you know if it's a badge wearing exercise? You go in there and you find out. So part of it was suspicion, was one of the reasons I wanted the training. The training was just a few days of we did it virtually because of the obvious situations, and it was just kind of going through different scenarios and playing out different ways in which you might identify somebody who was having issues, and also what would be expected of you. And and I think the paramount, it was always from the very start, you're not here to be a counsellor. And in fact, the biggest danger you can have as a mental health first aider is to counsel, because you lack the qualifications. I think that was the big gist of the training. Do not counsel people, because you will get it wrong.
So it's about really the direction forward for others and seeing what services are available then, I suppose. So do you think then that mental health awareness has changed both within and outside of work?
It's certainly, well, people are talking about it a lot more, but and there is definitely an element of badge wearing going on where people go, no, it's okay, you can be stressed here. Oh no, it's okay, you can have, you can be open about your mental health issues, but there is still stigma. There is still stigma when you come out and say, oh, actually, I've got long-term mental health issues. There is still a stigma. It's much easier to have those conversations, but without a doubt, there is some reflection back where people go, when all of a sudden you get asked a lot, are you okay? So there's definitely a stigma there, because when people say, are you okay, they generally mean, are you about to, do something bad? But yeah, so the stigma's definitely there, but we're going through it. It's getting better, I think, but it's still a bit of a struggle. I always kind of go back to, it wasn't that long ago, it's only 100 years ago where people went, they're a lunatic. Time to cut out half their brain. So I think, when you look at of where we're going, and if that's your start point, we've come quite far.
Well, there seems to be a lot more discussion in, our firm in particular, and others. It's coming more about. So for others, then thinking about becoming a mental health first aider, have you got any tips or any sort of suggestions of people looking of where they could go to find out more about it, or how they would start those conversations with their employer if it's not a system they have?
Yeah, I think, most firms now will have a mental health first aid scheme of some sort. They may not call it mental health first aid because they may want to desensitize the word. So, but it is just kind of like go to your friendly people department or HR department and say, is this on offer? And that's a good way to start. And also, you can do it yourself. So if you really just go, look, they're not offering it, just do it yourself. So you can just Google mental health first aid course and go off and do it if you really want to. And that is a viable route. But most firms now will have some kind of support system that they put in place. And one of the things, although you say go to HR, one of the great things about the mental health first aid scheme is to separate the support that people can get away from that. If I go to HR, then it's going to be my personnel record, and obviously that's not true. But the whole purpose of mental health first aid is to spread it out across a multitude of people, and so you get support from lots of different people from lots of different walks of life. I may be a mental health first aider in the technology team at Travers Smith, but members of technology do not have to come to me. They can go to any mental health first aider that is at the firm, and that's that can be really refreshing for them, because sometimes you do want to talk to a stranger.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for overviewing your experience and your time today of being a mental health first aider. Thank you, Mark.
Thanks.